Project Playtime introduces two different characters as the survivor and Boo being the victim and the monster. These two characters are playable alongside two other fan-favorite characters, Mummy Longlegs and Huggy Wuggy. Despite Huggy Wuggy and Mummy Longlegs being well known, in here we learn much more about their attack strategies and capabilities by stepping in their shoes and experiencing the world through their perspectives. Hi folks, I'm R, your narrator, and welcome to this video. If you have any video or game suggestions, make sure to send them my way on my Twitter or subreddit. Keep in mind that this video will have spoilers about the entire franchise. And with that said, let's begin. There are a total of 4 characters in Project Playtime. These characters are placed in 2 categories, the survivors and the monsters. Keep in mind, each monster has their own unique different skins, with Mummy Longlegs even having the Daddy Longlegs skin, with Boo having an animatronic skin, and Huggy Wuggy having a skin with multiple eyes, being nicknamed to Killy Willy. But despite all that, they are the same characters with the same abilities. The survivors are seemingly human who have been hired by Playtime Co. as resource extraction specialists. Despite what the title might suggest, these employees seem to lack any specialty and there are no signs or indication of them ever having gone through extensive training to acquire any special skills. The only training they receive seem to be through a live feed where Lathe Pierre tells them about what tasks they need to perform in order to complete their mission. That being said, they seem to be experienced with the grab packs as they can use them without any problem. But grab packs are essentially automated pieces of engineering which anyone can pick up and quickly get used to, so it's not really rocket science. As the newly hired resource extraction specialists, the staff members are required to attempt recovery of valuable assets from the remote reaches of the factory. The word here is attempt, as they could very well fail to do such simple tasks due to giant monstrous toys being on the loose, preventing them from doing so. These remote sealed off areas are riddled with giant toys who hunt anyone entering the place, especially Playtime Co. employees, as they have once been humans who had their humanity taken away from them, with a project known as the Big Buddies Initiative commissioned and overlooked by someone called Harley Sawyer, the Doctor. These humans were transformed into horrifying monsters who were doomed to be trapped within these buddies forever, pushed into forced labor. Due to the injustice they suffered, these humans who are now monsters lost their minds, some even losing their intelligence, becoming hostile and resentful. This hostility caused the company to seal them off in abandoned parts of the factory, making them become trapped, starving, as they would get no food either. This essentially forces these monsters consume whatever they find, including Playtime Co. employees. That's why Playtime Co. hires people who no one would bat an eye in case of their disappearance, backing up their company by making these doomed employees sign multiple NDAs in case of any lawsuits. Effectively, these employees sign their lives away as if drafting to go to war against these monsters, except they are only equipped with not so dangerous grab packs, which as the name suggests, only grab things. These specialists are required to find and collect toy parts scattered around the sealed off areas, which are typically locked inside pillars, requiring 3 puzzles to be solved before they open, in order to make a giant toy and deliver it to the train. What these employees do not know, however, is that they are involved in a very inhuman and immoral plot to create giant toys just like Huggy Wuggy, Boo, and Mummy Longlegs, with an ill-fated employee having their consciousness, soul, and existence transferred into them. Moving on to the monster characters, their only mission here is to stop the specialists from collecting these toy parts and departing. The final end goal is to collect these employees as supper for the starving toys below in the feeding pit, including the monsters themselves who have been hungry for a very long time. It's not clear why these monsters want to stop the employees from collecting the toy parts, but my guess is that despite their hostility and monstrosity, these monster toys still have compassion towards their own kind and understand the gravity of their situation of who they have become. They simply do not want more people suffer like they have and become trapped in dull bodies for eternity, always being hungry, whether being enslaved by Playtime Co. or getting sealed away if not compliant. One of the monsters who is the latest latest addition to Puppy Playtime franchise is Bugsy-Boo, a jack-in-the-box-like toy who pops out of its box in a horrifying manner and chases after the survivors using its springy limbs to its advantage. Bugsy-Boo starts as a music box who transforms into a terrifying monster. He's a hunter with both speed and agility, being able to fully take advantage of his springy limbs to jump high distances and lunge at its prey. Due to its nature, Bugsy-Boo has a few special abilities, allowing him to be a more effective hunter. He can hide inside his box in order to hide and camp for the survivors to attack them easily. Another advantage of having springy limbs is that he can stretch it out and reach for the survivors and pull them close before striking them. One disadvantage, however, is that the survivors can hear him when he gets close due to the music that plays constantly from his box. Bugsy-Boo is unfortunately the result of a failed experiment who is the first of his kinds, being based off a toy made in 1988. According to what is mentioned, the experiment is only deemed successful if the subjects are fully obedient and submissive to the demands of Playtime Co., as otherwise they would be considered as failed experiments. Bugsy-Boo seems to be similar to Huggy Wuggy and be entirely instinctual, preying on his victims for sustenance. During the experiment, the subject human must have lost his consciousness and intelligence, becoming a hollow version of himself. Truly, a tragic fate for whoever experienced this, as they will be forever trapped inside a body, not in control of their own decisions and thought process. Moving on to Huggy Wuggy, he's labeled as the brute type who uses sheer power to incapacitate his victims. Huggy is an overshadowing monster who seems to be instinctual and having one goal: to feed on the prey and stop them from collecting the toy parts. He has a special ability in Project Playtime, being able to place many Huggies in different parts of his territories to spot the victims much more efficiently. As soon as any survivor gets close enough to any of these many Huggies, they scream as loud as they can, alerting the main Huggy to the location, who appears there within seconds, killing the survivors instantly or dropping them into the feeding pit for the toys below to do the job. This monster was based off the most popular toy of the Playtime Co., the mascot, Huggy Wuggy, who was created in 1984. A giant statue of Huggy Wuggy was placed in the factory's main lobby, which turns out to have been his alive Huggy Wuggy all along, being used as a security measure to stop anyone from snooping around past closing times. Finally, the last monster in the early access is Mummy Longlegs, who has a well-documented history in the Playtime Co. organization. Mummy Longlegs is more of a stealthy monster who uses her spider abilities to capture her victims. She is fully conscious and perceptive, unlike Huggy and Bugsy, but due to enduring a grueling experience, being turned into a monster and trapped in the factory, being badly isolated, Mummy becomes heavily resentful and hostile, disobeying Playtime Co. This soon escalates with both taking actions, leading to Mummy losing her mind and killing for fun, especially anyone who is an employee of Playtime Co., as she sees all of them as the true monsters who strip the test subjects from their humanity. Mummy, just like spiders, is capable of using her stretchy long limbs to climb on walls and ceilings, quickly ambushing her victims and killing them. Some of her special abilities which come in handy when trying to capture her victims are her spider webs, which can slow down her prey. Additionally, Mummy is capable of seeing through walls for short periods, making it very easy for her to spot her victims. Mummy was created in 1991 using a patented technology of Playtime Co. known as elastic plastic, which had stretching properties. Mummy showed resentment and hostility towards the staff of Playtime Co. after being transformed into this giant doll, which she didn't like at all and showed signs of hostility, rightfully, as anyone else in her place would exactly do the same. Just imagine waking up one day, seeing yourself as a monster who is supposed to work for the people who did this, entertaining their visitors and fulfilling their wishes. Due to being unable to control her, the company tries to manipulate her, taking advantage of her compassion towards children, placing her in the game station next to the children and orphans, so that she could forget about her miserable and doomed fate. One major aspect of the plot is revealed here, that the giant monstrous Mummy Longlegs was first created and placed placed in the game station. But due to her popularity amongst the children, the company decides to make toys out of her and take them to the market to be sold to the public. Therefore, the live giant mummy longlegs was first created in an experiment with the elastic plastic material, who becomes so popular that the company decides to make toys out of her in order to get profit. This goes to show the inhumanity of the so-called humans of the Playtime Co., who not only forced someone by the name of Mary Payne to be transformed into a living doll, but they manipulated and used children as leverage to control her. Then they used her misery and looks as a model to create their toys, all thanks to her love for the children, as otherwise the experiment that she suffered from and endured made her into a creepy and eerie monster with her looks, but her love for the children made her likable and popular amongst them. That's the tragic story of the monsters we face in the Playtime Co. factory, and the inhumanity and the cruelty of the so-called humans and the company. Anyway folks, if you enjoyed this video, you can stay tuned for more by hitting on the subscribe button and the notification bell. It's been your host Star, and I will see you on the next one. Take care.